Ah, hi.
How are you doing?
Good. And you?
Yeah, good man. That was quick. We went straight in there. Wow, it's brighter there. What's
Yeah,
happened?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a camera. I use the newest Skype version, so I can't play with the camera around. So it's lighting itself, but the frames is not so good anymore. But it's brighter then.
Yeah, it seems clearer and brighter. So that's two positives. So yeah, I launched the site tonight. Even though there's a few bits that are going to be probably going wrong, and people are going to be confused about it. But I've been waiting for Guy. He's dealing with some stuff at the moment, and so I thought, well, I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait for. So I'll just let the site go live, and then we'll get to find out all the issues because people will be emailing me and him. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes.
yeah. I will come. I will get. I will. Man, the English today. I will get my membership next month because I saw that the only way really to pay for it is with a credit card, and I don't have a credit card. So next month I have one. So next month I will join the.
Oh, okay, or a debit card.
Yeah, yeah, but I have to buy a credit card because Jalen recommended me that, and even Jonas, but because the site like workaway.info, and there you pay a membership 30 euros a year, and then it's like a searching site for jobs all around the world. Like and
Oh, you get this with a certain credit card, do you?
yeah, on that site you have to pay with a credit card. You can't pay with other cards, so I have to buy a credit card next month, even if I don't want to. So I put there 50 euros on that, so it's 30 euros for that membership, and then I have 20 euros still for the Ascending Brave side.
Well, the only thing with a credit card is that you need to have an upstanding bank account. They will assess it to see
No,
if
no,
you.
not that. That's not a. I'm. You can buy credit cards on gas stations. There's not your name on it, and you can. It's like a prepaid card. You can put
Oh, a prepaid
money.
one.
Yeah, yeah. You can put money on that card, and you can't go in credit with that credit card. You only can put money on the card, and when there's no money on it, you can't pay with it anymore.
Oh, okay.
So that's
That's
that
yeah,
kind of credit card I'm
yeah.
using.
That's interesting. So anybody can get one. Then they don't need a
Yeah,
bank
yeah,
account or
yeah.
anything like that. Oh,
You
that's
just
cool.
Or at least in Germany, you can go to a gas station and buy a prepaid credit card or something like that. And that's what I will buy next month. So I will join the club next month.
Brilliant. Okay.
I'm very curious. Did it help you too with remembering dreams? You know, the
Yeah,
organizer.
yes. I spoke with Irit a couple of days ago, and I mentioned that since having it next to my bed, then I am remembering that I'm dreaming every single night, and I'm dreaming quite a lot, and I'm waking up quite a lot due to the dreams. And for the first 3 nights, I was kind of restless. I wasn't sleeping deeply because I was dreaming a lot.
Mm, yeah, yeah, me too, me too. And even now, I don't put it near my head anymore because of that. Because when it's near you, you really have extreme vivid dreams. So I put it, yeah, near where I sleep still in this room. But yeah,
Hang on a minute.
yeah.
Hello. I'm just Skyping with somebody. Can I get back to you in about an hour or so? Okay. Here you go. This is my mate Chris.
Hi.
All right. See you in a bit. Bye. That's my daughter.
Yeah, I saw her in one video you showed her with Paul for a short second or something.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess eventually she's getting more and more interested in my videos now.
Huh?
She was watching kind of like one a day, and she's actually finding them interesting, and she's getting to know various of my subscribers, and so she'll be a member of the fold soon enough.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. It's yeah. but to end that topic, but it helps you too with remembering your dreams. And yeah, in the first beginning, it's really yeah, restless. I had that too because it's so. Yeah, it really helps you with remembering your dreams, and you wake up in the night because of the dreams. And
Yeah.
I had that too in the beginning, but you get used to it. But it's so easy now to remember your dreams. Or at least for me, it's really.
I hadn't even been applying myself. I just thought, I'm not going to do nothing, I'm just going to see.
Yeah.
And so it turns out that, you know, I'm aware of more dreams than usual, I think, and it's every night. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply myself. For about a minute before I fall asleep, I'm going to do the mantra. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams when I'm having an amazing dream. At the end of it, I'm going to wake up so I can remember it. So I'm going to see if that works. I haven't had any really increase in the clarity and the colours as yet.
Yeah, me not too, not really. And funny that you mentioned that because I talked with Paul about that today a little bit. With I did that too in end of 2015 and 16. I always did that before I go to sleep, saying to myself, I want to remember my dreams. I want to remember my dreams. I really tried that. That's my last thought when I go to sleep. But since I have now the orgonite, I don't do that anymore. It just help. I don't have to do that anymore.
Do you have your orgonite there now?
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah, because I just want to show it to the viewers. If you can turn it around so the viewer can see it, because take it back a bit. It's a bit blurred there.
Yeah.
Down a bit, and turn it around a little bit. Okay, so inside there, then, there is various metals. There's various gemstones. And,
you could say you can explain it that way. It's like organic, then inorganic of the metals, and then it's organic again. It of course in that let's say and there's a crystal inside. Let's see, and a copper around it.
Yeah.
And some, of course, in the top it's organic, then inorganic, and organic again, and then that creates a certain kind of energy, you could say. And that's.
And so Irit, one of our friends and viewers, she made these and made a present of them to us. And so she's going to be producing some more. And she's got a website, but she's not launching it at this moment in time. And I said that when she's ready, then we'll do a video and she can explain exactly the principle behind these organites, what they're supposed to do. And then she can direct them to her website. And if anybody wants to purchase one, then they can go to her. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing quite a few things like this for the members, because if anybody has, and there are quite a few artists, if they want to announce what they do to the members, I will do a video like I've done in the past with certain members. They can show a display of their art, and if they have a website, or if they want to sell it, or if they do requests like caricatures and all this sort of thing, then you know, if people want to make a little bit of business, then I don't have a problem with that. I want to help everybody achieve their objective and you know, grow this community. So we're familiar with what everybody does, really. And so then we'll know who to call upon. If somebody, for instance, is got technical experience with web building, I need somebody like that. And then I've asked one of my viewers if he's prepared to do some artwork, because I'm going to launch some T-shirts and that sort of thing at some stage. And so anything that's sort of relevant to the Wake and Brave site, I'll be promoting it. And so looking forward to all those facets. So we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, great. And I don't know if you watched my video. I uploaded it Monday, I think, the Juice Fast video I made.
No, I don't get notifications because otherwise I'd get too many. So
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Just send me the link in Skype. You copy and
yeah,
paste it and then send it through.
yeah. I can
That's what other
send
people
you the
do.
link. Yeah. It's up on my channel now, and yeah, and what I'm creating now, it's more like to art and poetry even. I created one even today, not today, last week, and yeah, it's at least everyone I said it to now said it was a good one. I read Jonas and Paul today. Everyone says it's a good one. It's a very short one. Maybe you want to listen to it. It's yeah, it's I am you and you are me. When we all realize that, we are free. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
short
it.
short
Yeah,
and
short and
sweet.
simple. Yeah, short and simple.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
has a lot of meaning behind it. It's yeah, it's.
Well, it does, and this sort of thing I'm really contemplating a lot lately, because I've been watching some Leo Guru's videos, and one Irit sent to me where Leo had this enlightening, and he filmed it. Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
I watched it today. Paul sent it to me today. I watched it today, and I even had to comment under his video that the poetry I said to you today. I don't know why, because the whole constant video I had to think about my poetry as he said that. I'm you, everything is me, and I'm all that stuff. It's a really great video. I had to laugh all the time, the whole video. It's funny at least for me. It's funny video. It's,
Funny. Why did you think it was funny?
because it's obvious that it's true.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah.
that's why it's funny. It's so obvious, you know.
That's one of the things. Look, I like Leo, and I love his content, but everything what he said in that video, in his moment of enlightenment, I'm thinking, well, just like you said, well, that's obvious. We all know that. Everybody knows that. So therefore, we're all enlightened. You know, we're not staring at our hands in amazement, because we've noticed our hands before, Leo, and we've noticed feelings in our bodies and all this sort of thing. And so, you know, yes, laughing. I don't want to be derogatory in any shape or form, but I've asked Irit if she'll approach him because I want to interview him, because I want to talk about the ins and the outs of the depths of it, because what he's saying in that video is that I don't care about anybody, I don't care about nothing means anything to me, we're all one and everything, and it doesn't matter if I die tomorrow, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Leo, you get out of bed tomorrow morning, and you pick up your camera, it's the first thing you do, you'll be making videos, that's your business, you'll still be living in the comfort of your own home, you won't be giving your money away to charity, you won't be throwing all your clothes away and running for the bushes, nothing will change, mate, you'll be exactly the same, only what you've had is like a psychedelic experience. When people have this ego obliteration or whatever, wow, I had an ego death, and all of a sudden they get compass mentis again. Lo and behold, what's there? The ego. So nothing died. You just forgot about it for a few seconds.
Yeah, you're just again with these. It's the same thing I think with these glimpses we have sometimes with in nature. You just know it in a way, and yeah, there's no ego in that moment, because of course it comes back. It's just that. Yeah, that's the filter, the operating system that sometimes don't let you see that, but when it drops, it doesn't die. It's just, let's say, the filter drops, and then you see it clearly, everything in a way. Like he, in his video, he sees it clearly in that moment, but of course, even he, in the video, he says he has to think about the consequences now of that experience, that yes, you still have to live with your friends and family and all that stuff. It's not gone. It's just yeah, it's let's say you just have a different perspective on things. Then
yes, you have one experience, and I'm very scathing about all this Kundalini, about the third eye, about the enlightenment, and any number of this spiritual stuff, particularly with the New Age, because if you look at enlightenment, I say it very, very simply that when you realize, when you get it inside your head that you're the only intelligent life form at this level in the whole universe, what we know about, we're on a fucking spaceship flying around the star, in a galaxy, in a massive cosmos. We can see, hear, and perceive basically a tiny, tiny fraction of what there is to perceive. When are we going to start thinking that we're a little bit special? Instead of thinking that we're all downtrodden and life shit and this, that, and the other, snap out of it, people. For fuck's sake, snap out of it. We are brilliant. Whatever we are absolutely amazingly brilliant. The world is absolutely amazingly brilliant. And so, just to know that, that's enlightenment. You don't need any tingling feelings or thinking that you are this cup and I'm this as well. Ooh, I'm this as well. And I'm this. So fucking what? As long as you get out in nature, you can appreciate nature, you can appreciate life, you take the time to look at it, and you're kind to the fellow human beings, that's enough. But all this building up about enlightenment, now I'm enlightened. Oh, goodness me. If anybody states that, like he's done, then there's only one place to go. In people's estimation, and that's down. It's the worst thing you could ever do. Put yourself up there on the pedestal. I'm having a real-time enlightenment, and now I'm enlightened. And this is the top of the most enlightenment. I don't think it's a low one. He was going, no, this is the big one. And I replied to Irit in an email, and I said, well, there's no tears, Leo. If it was so amazing, then I'm sure it'd bring a tear to your eye, just like watching your newborn child being born from your girlfriend or your wife. It brings tears of joy to your eyes. When you have a beautiful meditation, it brings tears of joy to your eyes. When you have a wonderful astral projection or something, whatever, you watch a leaf falling down from the tree, it brings tears to your eyes. No tears, Leo.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that, but I think it really, like he says, it's totally authentic. Totally, I see that it. At one point, he is close to tearing up when he says he loves everyone, and because he knows everyone is him and stuff. And I think really, like he says again in the video, it's totally authentic, and you're totally. In that moment, you're totally vulnerable. You're totally vulnerable in that moment. You're totally. But again, it's talk with Paul about that. It's like the left side of the brain. It's like it's speech in there, and that's why in the right side it can't speak. And so that's why language. Sometimes we have experience. Like, let's say it's experience with the other side of the brain, but we can't put it into words. We really can't. Psychedelic experience and spiritual experience. And that's the thing. The left side of the brain can't not comprehend, but put it in a form that you can intellectualize it. You can't intellectualize it. You can't just, like every guru says it, you can just experience it for yourself. Then you know it because you experienced it. But you can't just read every type of religion and every type of stuff and then you think you know what it is. You can't. That's just knowledge. It's not wisdom in a way. It's just knowledge. You have to experience that for yourself, and then you know it. Really, you deep down in your side, you know it, and then you can't unsee it anymore. But again, you can't put it into words. That's
I don't know at the end of the day whether it means anything. What is it going to mean if you all of a sudden know that you are absolutely everything, and maybe it's solipsism that you're the only thing because it's your consciousness, but consciousness pertains to everything else. So we're all in this solipsism paradigm. But when you've had this euphoria, and then it wears off. What's the difference? What difference does it make? Is he going to be buying a sheet now and throwing his shoes away and walking around the world with his bowl for donations every time he sits down with somebody to share his wisdom? What is he going to do? I don't think he's going to do anything. What's going to happen is Chris, that he's going to bang on about being enlightened and losing his ego. What's banging on about being enlightened? The ego. It's a complete paradox. And so when anybody talks about, oh, I lost my ego died, and this, that, and the other, the ego ain't never dying until you leave your body. Get that straight.
Totally. It's how can I say that?
So I'm just looking forward now to seeing what his subsequent videos are. And I was reading down some of the comments, and there was a few people saying like, he's still got his money. He's not giving away his money. And I was going to send him a comment saying, well, in view of the fact now that you realise that you're everything and you're nothing and you don't care about anybody anymore or anything, then please send me all of your money that you got in your bank account, because my ego needs nurturing because it's massive and I'm nothing like as enlightened as you. So please have pity on a facet of you. I wonder what response I would get.
Yeah, I don't think.
In actual fact, somebody tried to approach him to get him to have a Skype conversation with me, and he wouldn't. And he doesn't do Skype conversations, not to my knowledge. And if he doesn't come now to Skype with me when I want to talk to about this, I can't help thinking I'm calling his bullshit, and I'm going to do videos about it, how I'm going to be looking into what he said, because the whole video, like many of mine, Chris, like anybody, when we're talking about these realms, is a complete and utter paradox. 1 minute he says right, next minute he says left. 1 minute he says white, next minute he says black. But you can't avoid this, because this is the whole nature of it. So stop looking for truth. Stop looking for anything definitive. And if somebody has a enlightening experience, whereby they feel it's an experience outside of the everyday consciousness, well, just take acid, just take shrooms, just take Amanita muscaria, take DMT, and you'll get that level of enlightenment exactly the same. And so all it is different facets of consciousness.
I know what you mean, but I wouldn't call it the same experience, because I really saw myself as he said that I don't care about anything at all, nobody, because I was in that, as my mystical experience happened in 2014, that month in the bliss state, I was totally in that state. I totally understand when he says that, because I was totally in that state too. Nothing fucking mattered anymore. Even if I would know I would die in 5 minutes, it really was, I didn't give a fuck about it. And that feeling held it on for whole months. And then it subsided. And then I started to, what the fuck was that? Then I started to look into all the kind of religion, all the spiritual stuff I could find on YouTube and on the internet, and but I totally get that. But I think it's a different type of experience, because you didn't do drugs and you still had that experience. If you had drugs, mushrooms or whatever, you still can say, I had that experience because of that substance. But when you have that experience like I had, you can't say I have that experience because of that substance. I can't say that. It just happened to me. And then you really like, what the fuck was that? Really, what the fuck was that? And I really understand him when he says that you don't, in that state, you really, really don't give a fuck about anything at all anymore. And it's so, how can I say that? It's so
meaningless.
No, not bad. It's so liberating. It's so fucking liberating that you don't have to care about anything at all. You don't have any type of responsibility, because in that state there is no free will. You really know that, and you're exactly at the place you have to be. Nothing was a mistake in your life, nothing, and you really know that in that state, and that's why it's so fucking liberating. Because when that feeling subsides, it's really the doubts come back. Like, should I do this? Should I do that? What they think about me? All that stuff comes back, but it's just programs. It's just the programs coming back. But the programs don't have after that experience. The programs don't have that same value or meaning anymore. You still have these programs, but you don't take them so seriously anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, I know, I have to don't do this and I have to do that, and yeah, society don't like me to do this and stuff. But it's like, yeah, fuck it. It's just a game. It's just it doesn't matter in a way. It's really it doesn't matter. It's just.
But at the end of the day, it's not a game changer, is it? Because you still come back to the game. And in this game, there are very, very strict rules. Now, I would say to him, okay, if your ego's completely gone and you don't care about anything, well, take your clothes off then and run down the street naked. All of a sudden, the ego would be there because it's going to be chastising you that, oh, well, if I do that, then I'm going to get arrested. So, well, the ego's still there, so you still do care. Oh, yeah, but, well, okay, let's have a look at other scenarios then. You seem to be living in a nice place. Well, what about giving that place up for somebody else to enjoy, and you go and living in a very, very small shed or something with very humble surroundings? Oh, well, I can't do that because, well, why? Well, because I need all my nice surroundings and I need to be able to record videos. Well, why if nothing matters? Obviously, everything is still exactly the same.
Maybe it's hard to, again, that's the left side of the brain. It can't put words onto it. You can't describe it, that feeling, in a way like you can't say it doesn't matter in a way. It's the only words you can use for that to describe it. That it's not that it doesn't matter anymore. It's just that it's not so serious anymore. It is a game. Everything is playing with itself, and it's not so serious as it seems. So, that, maybe
look, you may be a little bit more light-hearted about it, Chris, and you may not beat yourself up so much. But at the end of the day, bills still need paying. You still need an income. You still need to dress yourself and present yourself presentable to society. There's a protocol within this society that you absolutely have to adhere to. And so, therefore, then, it doesn't matter what you think and, it's nothing's real anyway. Well, you walk around this world with that mindset and you'll very, very quickly see that there is a very, very deep and prominent reality in this domain, and you will go into jail if you start fucking with the society. If you do anything to harm anybody, then you will be arrested. So whatever you glean from a tear in this fabric of this dimension, it's not worth nothing in this dimension as far as I can see, because you can't use it. I've had lots of experiences in meditation and doing psychedelics and everything, and you can see a tear, and you can know that, wow, I'm bigger, and even solipsism on DMT, and you know that you've created everything and you're the only thing, and it's really, really lonely. But at the end of the day, when the DMT wears off, you're back in the fucking game. And so all of that stuff, it's just a memory. It's just like having a dream. Sometimes we have dreams whereby something terrible happens, and then you wake from the dream and you're so relieved that it was a dream because it seemed so real. Well, it was a very, very prominent experience, and you'll never forget it. And so I just don't see what really is worth banging on about. And I don't, you see, Leo, he's been intent on having this enlightening experience for many years. And he's been reading, going to all these meditation retreats and consulting gurus and all that with a desperation, a real desperation to get it. And I said to Irit, I said, well, look, what happens is when somebody is really intent and desperate to get something, there's either one or two things that you can do. One is that your intention will propel you towards achieving whatever it is. Now, if it's something that is physically attainable, like you want to do sport or you want to learn something or whatever, or the other thing is it's the Freudian concept of the wishful fulfillment of dreams. If you don't get a certain something in this reality, then you'll get it in your dream. Now,
Yeah.
we could say that because he wanted it so badly, and it just happened to come about when he had a camera in his hand, or very, very handy, and can we say that like it was like a self-induced thing, that because you want something so much, then your mind has a way of giving you a certain something?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Confirmation bias, you could almost say to that, but it's again, it's maybe it was for him like that. I don't know. I didn't watch really. I don't know really his channel. I don't just watch that video because Paul sent it to me. But again, it makes sense what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense with my experience, you know, because I didn't give a fuck about spirituality. It just happened to me, and then just like, why, you know, why this happened to me, and that's and I think it's how can you say that? That's our real, let's say, operating system, that way.
You see, this is the point that I want to make here, and this is why I said this, you see, because I've listened to many gurus, so-called enlightened experience. Never, ever have any of them said, I was so desperate, I've been reading all these books about enlightenment. I've been going to see gurus about enlightenment. You know, that's what he's been doing. He's been making video after video after video. How to be enlightened. How do we get enlightened? The benefits of being enlightened. My God, the man's obsessed with it. And so I can't help thinking he's invented it. Whether he knows it or not, he's invented it. Because this is what the deep psychology does. Like, if women fantasize about having a baby, they will have a fantasy pregnancy. How's that? The body, the abdomen swells up as if it's having a child. This is how powerful the mind is.
Psychosomatic, it's you can create your own even diseases if you think about that enough.
Yes, that's right. And also what happens is with these gurus, they say that you will never, ever find enlightenment as long as you're looking for it. So everything that he said in this video is contrary to what all the gurus have ever said. But you see, he's been on a course of enlightenment. He's been reading all the books about how to do it. That's a crock of fucking shit. You know, that's my opinion anyway. And I'm not beating up on him. It's just that it looks kind of sad from my perspective because he's wanted it so bad. And I look at myself and I go, I don't want anything so bad. It seems I've got everything I need. I'm absolutely content, and I don't get up in the morning and think, oh, I'm going to read more books about enlightenment. Oh, I'm going to meditate. Oh, I'm going to be enlightened one day. I'm just living my life. I'm enjoying life, and I feel absolutely beautiful. And then he says, like, look, this has got to be true because I'm so authentic. Fucking hell, if that's authentic, you know, what did he do? I was going to ask him, show us your cock. How big's your cock? Let's see how authentic you really are. You know, fucking take your clothes off and let's have a look.
Yeah, but you know, you said it yourself. It's still that when you would say that to him, he of course he wouldn't do that because ego, the program still kicks in. We still have these programs, let's call it, and they're still working in us. But again, when you have that experience, you know. It's still there. It's not that the ego is gone or something. It's just that don't take it so seriously anymore. It's just like, I know I shouldn't behave that way, and you don't do it because, you know, like even he mentioned it once in the video that, or twice even, I think, you still think about the consequences now. It's not like, I don't give a fuck about anything anymore. You're feeling like that, but you're still thinking about the consequences when you would behave that way. And you know you can't behave that way. You know you still have to go on to the toilet, you still have to buy stuff in the grocery shopping and all that stuff. You still know you have to do that stuff.
So what really could we say the benefit of having such an experience? I mean, what has it done for you, for instance? I mean, how has it changed your life?
Yeah, it completely changed my life totally around, because again, before that I was totally just identified with my ego, totally just my ego, that's it, because I didn't know anything else. It just was my operating system, totally. And but after that experience, and I had that month of, let's say, call it bliss state, everything changed, and I looked into all that stuff, and everything almost changed in my life. I stopped smoking cigarettes, I stopped drinking alcohol, I even stopped for a month smoking weed, and changed so much, starting meditating, starting doing qigong, stopped eating meat and all that stuff. It just, in a way, it was just the most beneficial thing, for me at least, of that experience is it's like a catalyst to propel you into another way of living, thinking, and being in this world.
So before you had your experience, then were you meditating? Were you? No. So this is the thing, you see. It's a bit like the Eckhart Tolle thing. One morning he falls out of bed and he's got a realization. But for people like Leo, who has been studying in-depth psychology and philosophy and any number of other things for years and years and years, what benefit really does it give him over and above what he knows? Because he knew it all intellectually anyway.
Yeah, okay, that's I see that now. The more you talk with me about that, I see that I just watched the video today, and I saw his channel sometimes pop up recommendation, but I never watched the video of him, and I think I understand more of your perspective now, because I didn't have all the background story about him. I just watched, that was the first video I watched about him. That's why I have, oh yeah, I know what he means with that. Oh, I know what he means with that. I didn't know all this background story. That's why I think that of course, I have a different perspective on that video than you, because you had all the background story.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to have watched, let's say, 40 or 50 hours of his stuff, because every one of his videos is the best part of an hour, and I've been watching him for years, really. And so I've seen him talk about many, many subjects, and he talks along the lines what I do. He's a no bullshit guy, and he's very, very thoroughly researched, and basically he's speaking from his heart. He doesn't parrot fashion verbatim from books. This so-and-so said that, and this guru said that. He just speaks about his experience, and I respect that greatly. And I hope that we can become friends if he doesn't shy away from my offer, because if he really considers that it's made such a big deal to him, I want to play devil's advocate, and I want to say, well, how? Show me how, because I want to be able to convey this to all these people, because if you don't make any changes in your life, that people can say, well, what's the result of enlightenment? If you don't live longer, if you don't get more healthy and this, that, and the other, I'll say to people, well, there's no fucking point in doing all the work. What's the point? We're all going to die and we're all going to find out anyway. So don't waste your time, people.
Yeah, I know. I totally know.
Thousands and thousands of hours meditating, all these retreats and veganism and juicing. Oh, fuck off! Just enjoy your life.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that. It's like we said last time. But we had too much sound problems with Lao Tzu. The people who know don't talk, and the people who talk don't know. That's you don't have to, or like we said, you have to. Sometimes you have to be on that search, on that journey. And try all these things to find out you don't have to do all these things. You know,
yes, exactly.
That's the paradox. That's the
paradox about it. It's like really what you have to do. You have to try something to know what it feels like, to know if you don't like it or not. And you see, this is the thing I say to people. I say, look, there's a whole myriad of things that you can engage with out there, and you'll never know if you don't like doing something unless you've give it time, unless you've partook in it. I don't like playing drafts, it's boring. I don't like knitting sweaters, it's boring. Look, if you went to a class for like 1 hour whereby somebody taught you how to do this knitting, having sat down, you see, this is what people tell me about knitting. The reason why they knit, because it's a meditation.
Yeah.
And so they meditate, but also they're productive at the same time because it's hypnotic. The same old stitch, 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 stitch.
Yeah.
But also what they're doing is they're producing something for the grandchildren or for the nephew or something like this. So it's all positive. It's all a positive experience. So what I'm saying to people is try stuff. Give it the benefit of the doubt before you dismiss it. Whether you know whether you like it or not.
Yeah. With your example, remembers me of a friend of mine. I sometimes said to him, try to meditate, and he really don't want to meditate. But I said to him, your meditation is your going fishing. He likes really to go fishing and really be in nature and just go fishing. And I said to him, that's your meditation. My meditation is really like the normal or whatever, the stereotypical meditation. I really sit down and meditate, but he doesn't want to do that, but his meditation is going fishing. And I said, that's your meditation. You don't have to meditate in this way like I'm doing. You don't. You just find your way of meditating, or even sports can do that for you, or whatever, your hobby, in a way. As long as it's meditative to you, that's your type of meditation.
It's because people don't understand the principle of meditation. The principle of meditation is to stop thinking about shit. It's simple. You see,
and relaxing, just relaxing.
Yeah, relaxing. You see, I meditate in the gym. I'm pumping iron. I'm squatting weights, and I'm doing all this business. And people can say, "Oh, that's nonsense. How can you meditate?" It's how can you do anything? You can do absolutely anything with a clear mind, because when you're so used to doing something, then it's automatic to the body. And so I'm meditating when I'm playing my guitar, I'm meditating when I'm walking on the beach, I'm meditating in the gym, meditating sitting down, doing anything really. You just turn the mind off. And people like Osho, he'd be interviewed by people and they'd go like, "Oh, how often do you meditate a day? How many hours?" And, the stupid question from stupid people, because they're expecting him to say 22 hours. And then I eat for the other 2 hours. "Oh, you're such a guru." And he says, "I don't meditate. I haven't meditated like you're suggesting for many years because I'm in a constant meditation." And this is it. Once you find the avenue into your own mind and you escape it, then that's it. You're living like that all the time.
It's you just have to, in a way, find your own way of meditating. You don't have to. And that's why I do it too, I think. I looked in so many ways of meditating and doing yoga and qigong and all that stuff, and I'm still doing that. Not yoga and meditation. And qigong, I still, because I try to find new practices and new ways of breathing and stuff. But I always did that, and I always still do that, and I think I will do that till I die. I let's say, assess the information for myself and absorb as much as I can and integrate it in myself, but always do my own thing about through it. I create my own style of meditation. I create my own style of doing yoga or qigong. I do my own style of all these things. I don't want to copy it, That's what all the Matrix people do. Just learning stuff and then pasting it somewhere and copying it somewhere, and you get a good graduation for that. You're a good slave, know. But I don't. You have to integrate it in yourself and create something of your own with that. I believe you have to create something of your own meditation, your own way of looking at things. And of course, I like to see all these different perspectives. That's why I was so drawn to your side, because I really like I told you many times, I really like-minded with you, but sometimes I have a different perspective. But I really, really like that, to see someone that has a different perspective, and that makes me think, maybe I can look at that angle, and then you're really learning. At least for me, it really feels like learning then, because you're really making your own thing around it.
That's right. And the beautiful thing about it, you come to understand that there is no right and wrong, because if you say, oh, he's wrong, she's wrong, then all you're doing is just firing from your programs. When you listen to other people's opinions, you go, well, of course they've got another opinion because they're another person. And so that's how it's going to be. If we all had the same opinion, then it seems to me that we must be the same person, or we must be running on exactly the same programs.
I
found it always astounding. Sorry, Chris.
No problem.
When people find somebody else's opinion so objectionable, oh, I don't like what he's saying, that's wrong, that's bullshit, and all this sort of thing, it's kind of like, fucking evolve already. What the hell? You know, do you think you're going to bump into everybody that's got your opinions?
That's the thing. They never learn to, when something agitates them, something triggers them, they never stop at that point and ask themselves, why does that trigger me? Why I feel so agitated from that? And then just the programs, like you said, just the programs are firing. Oh, that's stupid what you say. Oh, I don't think like, it's just projecting your own fucking programs onto people. And I think every time you have something objectionable, something that triggers you, there's an opportunity for you to look at yourself and look at your own psyche, your own programs, and see why I feel that way. Why does that is so irritating to me, or whatever. It's and then you see, it's because I had this experience or something else. It's you learn something again. You're really learning about yourself. But most people don't do that. They're just, again, they're so indoctrinated in these ways of thinking, and of course the society is like that. Trains you in that way of thinking. That just when something is you disagree with someone, just attack him personally. You know, everyone does that. That's why there are so many trolls. That's just they don't want to see. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe my perspective is wrong. They just want to project onto the person or whatever it is, onto that situation, that that's wrong. And then again, you created your own, you create your own reality, and then you created your own, let's say, miserable reality, because everything is just, that's wrong, that's annoying, and sooner or later you create a program that's constantly running to criticize everything, to judge everything.
That's all it does, because what the human mind is, it's like a blank motherboard, and the program is given by the parents and by the school teachers and all the rest of it. And so once that motherboard has received its programs, that's the only thing that particular computer can do. It can't generate any more information than what it has. So all it does is it keeps firing back the information that it's got. So when the children become adults, and this is why I say, the child becomes the father. The child is father to the man, because in those early formative years, all the programs are absorbed, and a person that doesn't think and doesn't reevaluate or doesn't ever stop to consider what's going on inside here will run off these programs all of his or her life. And all they'll do, they'll reflect everything that they've absorbed. And the mirror, you see, won't allow, because it reflects, it won't allow new information's coming in. And so they'll be stuck in their programs, never ever to evolve. And this is the vast majority.
Yeah, and you made a great point right now, and that's why I think for most people they have to have these traumatizing experiences to really kick them out of that program, because their whole life is in that program. And then when you have a near-death experience, or like you shot in Ghana, or like I have with mystical experience, or other, there are a lot of experiences you can have. You don't only most of the time it's negative, but it's but you have to have, in a way, this experience to kick you out of your programs, your own programs, to really then you really have
to break your programming.
Oh yeah. To break the let's say the mirror get cracks,
Yeah.
and then the light comes through the cracks. Maybe that's an example. You see, there's another way to see this world. There's another way to perceive it, and then you really start to asking yourself. Then you really start to look into your own self, really asking yourself. But when you never had a similar experience to this, you never come out of that. I really do believe you never come out of that.
And so this is one of the reasons now that I want to speak with Leo, and I want to speak. What I'm going to do is when the new site is up and running and it's kind of settled down, I want to appeal to the members, and I want to say who wants to come forward and talk about their issues in front of everybody, because the whole premise of talking about your issues in front of people, hanging out your dirty washing, is potentially very, very liberating. Yeah. But how many people can even come on Skype just to talk? And how many people do I get having made a video with somebody, then they, the day later or half a day later, oh, I don't want that video to go live, or can you not put that up, and this, that, and the other, because their insecurity is running riot with themselves, absolutely controlling what they are, all their previous programs and insecurities and everything, just by things that they said, or how they said it, or maybe they repeated things a little bit, or maybe they went a few times. Oh, I can't let people see that. All this business. When this new site is up and running, one of the things that everybody's going to know, that there will not be any deleted videos when people come on. They have to know that they have to be in control of this. If they're not in control in this, they have to look at themselves and go, what the fuck's going on? Why am I so terrified of what this may say when I come on Skype?
Yeah, but I think the most part is not that they, of course they're afraid what comes out of this, but the most fear, I think, comes from what will people think about me when they hear that? That's the
if they think that, then they shouldn't even be on this site, because that is the lowest of the low. They're not evolved in the slightest.
I wouldn't say they are not ready for this site. I would say it's just, of course, for some people it's more difficult than for you and me. Let's say we are versed in talking, and we are like to talk. And that's why it's so easy to us. But for other people, it's not so easy, and that's why they're more. But I think that's really helping them when they are.
It is easy for them.
Yes,
to be fair, because they do it every day.
I
know.
The
grocery shop. They'll do it at work. They'll do it on the bus.
They're
doing it.
I know.
What's happening is this self-criticism facet of the ego isn't kicking in with the fears. And so what they've got to do is to say to themselves, I'm gonna evolve now. I'm gonna lose these elusive, non-existent fucking fears.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. You said it. That's why I think it's still a site for them here, because when they have really so big fears of that, then the site is a perfect opportunity to come out of your comfort zone and say, fuck it, and do it, and just talk with me, Aaron, or what the fuck, and he uploads it. And even if you're not fine with the video, fuck it, look at your own self, watch it again and again and again, and see how preposterous it is to say to yourself, it's just, oh, I didn't say that. Nobody will judge you on this site. I don't think so. So just do it. Use this site as an opportunity to force yourself, or not really force yourself, but use it as an opportunity to come
grow.
out of your...
I mean, ascending, awaken, brave. This is the whole freaking premise behind the name. People who come here want to self-actualize. I remember when I was about 10 years old, my old man brought me and my brother a radio cassette player for Christmas. And we was putting the tape in, and it had a microphone, and you could record your own voice. Well, when we heard our own voices, we were horrified. How ridiculous we thought we sounded.
Yeah.
And my brother says, "No, you sound exactly like that."
Yeah,
and I'm
like
like,
that,
"No, it sounds really funny." Well, it's because you're not used to hearing it from that perspective.
But
If you even go like this, Chris, if you're standing in an empty room and you put your hands up your ears like this and you talk, your voice will even sound different than when you go like that. And it's just because the voice is bouncing in from a different perspective. When you're like this, the voice is echoing off the front, it's echoing off the back, and it's coming in to your ears like this. So it sounds different.
Yeah, and there's another scientific explanation of that, because when you talk, there's a vibration in your jaw, and that's vibrating when you talk, and that's why you hear your voice in a different tone yourself. You hear yourself talking in a different tone, but when you hear yourself recorded, there's not the vibration of your bones anymore with that, and that's why you do I really talk like I have that too with for me, I hear myself much let's say higher. Much higher voice, but when I watch the videos back with you or something, I always have like this very deep voice, but I don't listen. I don't hear myself that. I'm really hearing my really higher with not such a deep voice. I don't hear myself with such a deep voice.
And so this whole thing then, when we listen to ourselves and we feel a bit embarrassed, it's childlike. And it's absolutely preposterous in this day and age when we've had these recording devices for so long. It shouldn't be a surprise what we sound like. And so really, goodness me, I struggle so much. With people that just can't do that. And the amount of Skype conversations I've had, people can see that it isn't the Spanish Inquisition. They're not being interrogated by the Nazis. I'm making you talk, you pig. None of this is going down. I'm open. You lead the way in the conversation, and I'll listen, and I'll help you. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you. I'm not about to intimidate you. I'm not going to be asking you shit that you can't answer,
And when nobody comes forth, I'm the first one, no problem. And I even talk now about my shit with you on the official Wake and Brave side. With finding a job, and I have my insecurities too, but I'm working on them. But I don't have a problem sharing that with the whole world, because I know for myself, for my own experience, when I watch YouTube videos and I really see a authentic person who talks about his problems, and he has maybe same or similar problems that I have, it really helps me to see that I'm not alone, that's really helping yourself, that, I thought I was the only one who has problems with that. But when you see other people having the same fucking struggle with that, it's really, again, liberating for yourself that, I'm not the only one,
I said this to Paul in our conversation yesterday. I said, basically, this is what I want the new site to be. I want it to be open. I want everybody talking to everybody. I want people to record their own conversations, send them to me, and then we'll upload them. I want people to talk about what qualities and skills they've got, so we all know if we need somebody to do something. And what this site is going to be, it's going to be what I've intended it to be all along, a platform to self-actualize. And so therefore, when we start talking about our shit, this is why people like looking at my videos, because I'm authentic and I don't mind saying many things about myself. But if people come forward and they start saying stuff about themselves, and then all the viewers are going to be thinking, ooh, that person's got balls. They've said all these private things and now we all know about it. And then they're going to have a reflection upon themselves and go, well, that's, really brave, and look how they're benefiting from it and everything. Oh, maybe, can I do that? Could I do that? What if I did that? This is what it's all about. We all have to come out from under our stones and out of our shells and realize that we all have failings. We all have inadequacies. None of us are perfect. We've all got shit.
Carl Jung said it so great. You have to accept your own darkness, and when you accept your own darkness, you see it's so not easy, but it's more easy for you to accept the darkness in others because you know you have your own shit. It's not like you're that holy
It's like Jesus
person or
said,
something. Yeah,
supposed to have said in the Bible, first remove the rafter from your own eye before you pick up the straw in another man's. When you've looked at your own shit, then it's a bit like an enlightening thing, Chris, in that you won't be doing it. You won't be picking people to pieces because there's no point in doing that because all you are doing is projecting in any case. You know, you look at the person and you see how they are as an individual and think, well, I mean, how can we help a person get over that? How can we help a person get a bit more strength in a particular region? This, that, and the other. What's the point in going, you know, you're this or you that? What does that do? All that does, it builds up a little bit of a protection mechanism for yourself because if you ever noticed at school when you got some kid who's always poking fun, is always like laughing and joking and all this and that, when you get a little bit older, you'll know the reason why he was doing it because he was so fragile himself that he always had to keep pointing the finger at everybody else to intimidate them so they couldn't feel strong enough to come back to say stuff to him.
Yeah, the bully in the class is the most insecure person in the class. Yeah. Because he's bullying all the time, trolling all the time, because he's the most insecure person of them all. Because he's doing that. And when you see that in yourself, when you see that in yourself, it's so funny when, at least for me, when someone tries to bully me, I know it's just his own insecurity he projects onto me. You know, it's like, yeah, you have really, I think always like, yeah, you really have problems with that, you know, when they say like, oh, you're just stupid or you're just whatever. It's like, I always see, yeah, that's your problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem, you know.
It's an opportunity for you to see the weakness in them.
Yeah.
And most people, they look absolutely ridiculous when they are giving all this bravado and they are they're wearing this persona which you just know isn't them. There was a classic example when I was living in Australia and I went to work in one of these gold mining companies, and this particular job, it was driving one of these big dumper trucks, and when there wasn't no driving to be done, then we had to do some cleaning up of the site. They were building up the earth and this and the other. And when the dumpers have put it all down and the bulldozer's been in, we had to clear out the shit, you know, big lumps of wood and this and the other. And so this guy, who was the ganger man, he always used to wear sunglasses. I mean, it's very bright in Australia, but he always used to wear them. And so he'd wear these sunglasses, and you couldn't see his eyes because there were mirrors. And he'd be going, hey, you guys, get over here. Come and clean this shit up and do this and do this and do everything else like that. And like, you know, he looked a tough guy because he was quite big and everything. And he's all brown and like, you know, kind of a macho guy. But then come lunchtime on our first day, me and this other guy, we went into the canteen and he took his sunglasses off and we saw he had scared eyes. He had little piss-hole scared eyes. He couldn't look you in the eye. He couldn't get eye contact with you. He didn't even want to acknowledge you there, but back out again when he got his sunglasses. Oh, you, oh, you. That's that again.
The sunglasses was for him the protection mechanism. This wall he builds up, I'm the strong guy. But when he doesn't have that, all the insecurities rise up again. And then
because he knew, looking into those eyes, everybody could see what a little scaredy cat he really was.
That's it. That's if you never confront yourself with that, you always will walk around the rest of his life with these fucking sunglasses. He even wears sunglasses at night, you could say. It's it.
Well, if you look at the Gallagher brothers, you look at Noel and Liam.
He always has that colourful...
So Liam is always got glasses on, whereas Noel doesn't have. Noel is the mature one, is the more intelligent one. He's the one that goes on chat shows with everybody, and he's engaging, he's funny, and all this business. Leon is as thick as shit, and he doesn't do anything like the interviews. When he does do an interview with Noel, he's sitting there kind of like this, you know, with his shades on and, you know, all pushed back like this because he's embarrassed, and he lets Noel do all the talking. And, you know, it just shows him for the idiot he is. And so there's a classic example of you know, hiding your stupidity, covering up your eyes.
Yeah, your insecurity, I would say. It's like, I thought about that a lot, that, not a lot, but I contemplated it most when these, let's say, these very, very hard rockers, you know, like Hell's Angels, and these other guys, like, tattooed all over the face and all that stuff. And for me, it's just like, again, it's a protection mechanism. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm that very hard, strong guy, you know, but when they go home, they're very, very, I believe really that these guys are the most insecure guys of them all, because they have to wear this vest, or they have to whatever, very they're really insecure, and that's why they're building this strong wall around them, this protection mechanism that
and
nobody
so when you see a physical thing, then you can, you know, you can see that as playing in this day. But most people in society these days, they're not wearing anything physically. They don't have anything, you know, like tattoos and all these earrings and all this stuff on them. But they're wearing personas. They are completely different people than what they really are. They're just they're all actors. Everybody's acting in these positions and never revealing themselves, their insecurities, but always looking for everybody else's. You know, like so they can use gathering up weapons. You know, to use against people.
Again, that remembers me of the I think you know that movie, The Mask, with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
When they the psychologist at the beginning of the movie says, yeah, we're all wearing these metaphorical masks, and it's totally true. We are all these personas, these facades, these metaphorical masks. We are wearing them in society. But when we are really close to our family, most of the facade, most of the mask drops. Then we are feeling like, I can be myself now. But when we are out there in the matrix, we are wearing these facades, these masks, to protect ourselves. And again, we don't want to. And funny, now I remember that even Leo said in his video, this vulnerability you're feeling, it's like, that's it. It's you don't want to be so vulnerable in society because everyone could hurt you, and you don't want that. That's why you create this protection mechanism, this facade, this mask. But you really don't, in a way, you when you are a child still, let's say, you don't want to do that. You want to be yourself, but in a way, society wants to press that out of you. Society don't want individual people. Society wants just conformative people. And then, again, these programs, that's the programs. That's we have to confirm in a way, but deep down inside, we know we want to be ourselves. We want to be authentic, but we are so used to wearing these masks that it's so scary to us to be vulnerable, to be authentic. And then again, that's why I think that why you have a great attraction on your side, because you are authentic and people feel that I want to be authentic too. But this, and again, then the program kicks in, or at least for me it was in the beginning, then you put away that responsibility and say it's the fault of society, I can't be myself. But that's not the fault of society. Of course, society tries to press that out of you, but you just say, fuck you, society.
Yeah.
You play by their rules in a way. Of course, you have to, like, have to make money and do certain things, but you say, fuck it, I don't wear this facade anymore. I let myself be vulnerable. I let myself be vulnerable, be authentic. And that, for me, is the bravest thing you can ever do in this life.
There's a lesson that I want to speak about now, which I learned very, very young. But before I sort of go into this little bit of an illustration or parable, I'll just talk about the mask. You see, the mask was an accentuation of the reality of this life. When he put this mask on, whoa! He was a dancer, he was the lover, he was a charmer, he had all the confidence in the world and all this sort of thing. When you look at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, then exactly the same. All of a sudden, when he drunk the flux, then he become the life and soul of the evening nightclub, playing the piano and dancing and charming and telling jokes and all this sort of thing. And so it's the wildest fantasy. Ooh, wouldn't it be nice just to be able to put this mask on and become somebody else? When I was a kid growing up in my household, my old man and my stepmother wouldn't tolerate lying in any shape or form. And so what happened was that my elder brother was a prolific liar. And I noticed that he would do shit all the time. And he wouldn't be authentic, and he wouldn't take the rap. He would try to get away with stuff, and he'd always be denying that he's involved in this and involved in that. And so, my father and the stepmother never trusted a single thing he said or did. And they always say, "You're lying again." It was always this accusation, because once you've told a few lies and you know to be a liar, then people are going to assume that you're always lying, or predominantly. And so I looked at that situation and I thought, well, it doesn't look like a good move to me, because if I started to lie and I would be tarred with the same brush, I wouldn't be trusted, and so they wouldn't have confidence in me, so they wouldn't lend themselves to being much more open with me, because they'd always feel they've got to protect themselves because I'm going to do something fucking dodgy. So I made a point that I would never lie. And so when I was so I took it to school and I or lie. And what people really admired about me is that they always knew I would always tell it the way it was. And lots of people now, they don't like it, but I'm telling it the way I fucking see it, people. And I can see it in you, and you've got your shit, and you've got your faces and your facades and all this, and I'm telling it, and you don't like it because a bit like the school bully. Oh, look at that person in that stupid dress or stupid shoes. You've got to get over it. And this site, you see, you need somebody like me, because I am going to be prompting you to self-actualizing. And so this is the whole premises of it. When you are renowned for not bullshitting, not telling any lies, you can say absolutely anything with impunity, because people have no reason to doubt you. It's
a story. I think you know that too in England, that the kid that always screams wolf, and sooner or later there's really a wolf, but nobody believes the kid, and then the kid got eaten from the wolf because it's always screaming wolf, and that's it. When you're constantly lying, and sooner or later your lies, like the saying, lies have choice. Sooner or later, people will see that you're constantly lying. No matter how good you are in lying, people will see that. Sooner or later, we'll see that.
But also, there's something else, Chris, because if you don't lie, but you embellish, if you exaggerate, it's almost the same thing, because if I was renowned for embellishing my story, and I said, oh, I had this amazing astral projection, people go, oh, whatever, Aaron. You're not going to tell the truth. So what can I learn from it? It's just going to be a fantasy.
That's with my bigger brother. He always exaggerates when he talks. Always like, that's 10,000, and that's not true. But he always exaggerates, always to make the story more interesting. But yes, of course, everybody knows he exaggerates every time, and then nobody can take the numbers he's saying or something like that, take it seriously anymore, because everybody thinks like, Is he exaggerating again? Again?
I had a guy working for me, and he was absolutely just like that, and he was renowned within all the workers. And so what we'd do is, there would be truth to what he said, but it would always be exaggerated. And so what we'd do is then we would just reduce every single figure he said, because being at work, it was like, I bought this car on eBay, or I bought this on eBay, and I sold it back, and I made this much money. All right, whatever. So, you know, if we say that you made a quarter of what you made, then, okay, you made some money, so we can learn a little bit of something from that. But, yeah, these people that... They just have, instead of saying they earned or won, say like £1,000 on the lottery card, they won £10,000, because it's just gonna sound more important to the other person, and the other person's going to be going, wow, that's brilliant. Instead of like, if it was 1,000, wow, that's pretty good. You know, it would only get a small wow instead of a big wow. They're always feeding for that adoration.
Yeah, that attention that they really like to make everything so interesting in their life. Because I think really, when you look at it from totally psychology perspective, why would you do that? You only would do that if you think of your life is not interesting enough. Then why? That's why you exaggerating. That's why I always think about that about my brother. He always exaggerates because he has the opinion about his own life that it's not interesting enough to tell other people. And that's why he has to make it so interesting and so, like you said, a big wow. And then it's like food for your ego. Like, I'm interesting. You know.
So what we learn from it, and we listen to this, and we get to know these people, then we can see that they are pure. And so you get to know their shadow aspect, or part of their shadow aspect, very, very quickly. And this is the beautiful thing about psychology, because just by listening to somebody, you don't need to probe them with deep-rooted questions. All you need to do is just to listen to them over a period of time, and you can see deep inside all of their issues. They may think they're hiding everything, but to a decent psychologist, they can't hide nothing. They're that glass, and you can see straight through.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People sometimes even said that to me, like they have the feeling that I'm looking through them in a way. That when they tell me stories, I know. And that's a funny thing. I really think that sometimes that you're telling me that, and I know what you mean with that. You know, and like I don't know why, but in a way they feel that with my seeing that. Or I don't know. I don't say it, but in a way
they feel naked.
Yeah, they're feeling like I see through their facade, through their mask. I see behind that. And but the funny thing is, after a while, they really like that, because most of the time everyone wears this mask, but I don't wear a mask. I always say, talk to me. I don't judge you. That's really my motto. I treat people like I want to be treated. I'm not just saying that, you know. And really, sooner or later, people feel that in you. That then they open more up to you, because they're seeing I don't have to wear this mask in front of him, at least. And then they talk with you about stuff. I even say that with the old lady. I visit her now at least once a week now, and she talks with me about everything, you know, everything. And she, it's really great. For me, it's great to learn from such a great resource of life experience, because she's 80 years old. And she has someone who really listens to her, not just and then I want to go home now. No, I really sit there and listen to her stories, because I really are interested in it. I'm not just pretending. I'm listening to you.
This is. I actually thought about you and her today. And I was sort of like projecting myself in a similar sort of relationship, because I've always wanted to engage with very old people that are still compos mentis, say like 18, 90 years old, because I'm so interested about how they perceive the war, you know, and the whole psychological aspect of it, but also to take me from my current age up to another 30 or 40 years, take me through it, allow me via their experience, tell me about the age, tell me about their fears, tell me about the insecurity, tell me about the disappointment. Because you see, what happens is, with old people, they become more and more transparent because transparent in that people look straight through them. Now, what I've noticed that I get a lot of older women looking at me, and I used to dismiss it and pay it no regard in my former years. But I've come to understand now that still 17, 80-year-old women have some sort of amorous feelings. They still are attracted to an attractive younger man, this, that and the other. And I was sitting on a wall with my shirt off in the sun when I was living in this old town. And one morning, these 5 elderly, mentally handicapped women were out walking with their carer. And they're all like, 70, 80 years old. And as they walked by, they started to look at me, and I'm like, what are these old women looking at me for? And then one came over and she started to touch my back. And then she was talking to the others and they were giggling like this, oh, you saucy. And she was feeling it. And she was feeling me all around like this. She had no barriers. And then the carer came over and said, I'm sorry. I said, no. I mean, it actually felt very sensual. And so because she was inhibited, she didn't know she was breaking boundaries. And I was kind of like, holy smoke, it's been a long time since I was touched. And her hands were very, very soft, very gentle and very caring. This was an 80-year-old woman who you wouldn't think there's got any of this stuff going on. But they do. And so I want to know how that works when nobody looks at you anymore. When people just look at you and think, oh, that's an old person. They don't know anything. Old people know everything. Or at least they've got the potential of knowing that. But you see, when you see these old people all sitting down like that, and they're all looking like weak and everything, and they're drinking the coffee, you see people look at them, and you'll never get, say, like an 80-year-old woman saying hello, 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 really, to like a 20 or 30 or 40-year-old person, because there's no connection there. Because the young person will think, like, what's that old granny saying hello to me for? And then the old person will be thinking, oh, it's inappropriate to say hello to that young person. So they'll only sit around saying hello to other old grannies. There's a whole lot of curious stuff that goes on.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I saw in her too. She mentioned that to me too. Like, some people are talking to her like she's a fucking small child. Like, and she's totally compass mentis. She still walks and does her own work.
Are you all right, love? And they're talking loud. Do you want me to help you with that? And she's like,
and she's totally. I can totally.
I'm all right.
It's like that. I can totally talk with her. Normally, totally talk with her about everything, and she said it to me. It's totally annoying when people talk to you, people treating you like you're fucking retard in a way. Like you're like, everything okay with you? Yeah, should I do that for you? And she really wants to do everything and help a little bit in stuff, but with not cassette players, it's vinyl players, because everything was standing on there in English and she can't read English. So I made some stickers in German and made this is the on-off button, this is louder and lower the volume and stuff. And I do stuff that for her that she's easier, but she really wants to do everything, most of the thing on her own. She still, she says that too. As long as she can go up the stairs and down, she will still do that. And she doesn't want to use these, how's it called in English? These rollies, She says, no, I don't use that. Fuck it. As long as I can use these legs, I'm fucking using these legs. I love her attitude. When a doctor say to her, hey, you have to have this hearing
aid.
device. Hearing aid. And she says, no, fuck that. As long as I can hear with my normal ears, I don't use that. And I said to her even, that's fucking great that you do that, because when you would use that hearing device, that after 1 year or 2 years, you couldn't hear without it anymore, because your whole muscle, that is a muscle too, your ear, and when you're using it, of course, like every muscle, it gets trained and it's still strong. With your legs, everything. But when you use like the hearing device or this rollator or this stuff, your all muscles are getting weaker and weaker, and you sooner or later you have to use these tools, because without these tools you can't walk anymore, you can't hear anymore, because.
Well, you see people all around, because they've not used their body. To do physical work or physical exercise, then when they becoming 40, 50 years old, they're fucked. And I was talking to Paul last night, and I'm passing people like this that are barely 5 years or maybe 10 years older than me, and they can only get up 10 steps before they have to hang on to the rail. But you see, all of a sudden, it comes as a big surprise to them, because all they've done, maybe, is get in their car from the house, drove to work, walked out on level plane, gone to the office, and this is what they've done for years and years and years. Then all of a sudden, they go on holiday somewhere, and holy fuck, there's stairs here, and if we got to go down to that beach, we've got to go downstairs, and they come up them, and when they come up there, they get a slap in their fucking face, and it says to them, see, fools, you see what you've been doing? You didn't think about this, did you? You didn't think about stairs in 10 years' time.
That's it. It's you have to use your muscles, and I mean everything. Even your brain is a muscle. If you don't, and again, when you just copy and paste everything, and you don't think for yourself, of course you're not using your muscle here, and of course it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and so easy then to manipulate you, because you don't have your own strength to rely on. Because you are so weak in that regard, in that topic or in that subject, because you never trained that. You never, you always thought, I don't have to use that. There are so many, and that's why I think, again, it's a big leap to another subject, but just to use that as an example. Of course, everything has good and bad sides, but the bad side on the internet I see is with Google, that everybody Googles everything, and nobody thinks for themselves anymore, and nobody, I don't have to learn that. If I want to know that, I Google that, and then you're relying on that fucking site. It's, of course, sometimes it's very good to Google something, and to, in an argument or something, there's a study I can show you, or something like that, but when you're totally relying on fucking Googling everything and not relying on your memory. And
also, the thing is, you see, there's a joke that Al Qaeda hide all of their
on the second page,
on the second page of Google. You see, because if anybody wants the answer, then they'll Google it, and on the first page, and then they'll come to the first one or the second one, and then that's it. They believe that, you see. And so this then, when you look at how the powers of manipulation, all they've got to do is to pervert the whole of the human race, is just to start slowly changing shit on Google. Start perverting the history, start changing the date, start changing the outcomes, and this, that, and the other. And of course, this is already happening, because
of course.
There's so much variance with just about everything. And so then you can see then that you are going to be absolutely controlled when that's your only portal of information. And so presently, with the internet now, there is the opportunity whereby we can get a whole array of different perspectives, but there's a price to pay with that, because there's so many variants of it. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what the truth is. All you can ever do is take a general consensus. Because Chris, the same as I do, we're looking into all this stuff, You look into it, you listen to this person, you listen to that person, you listen to somebody else, and la-di-da-di-da. And this is the whole thing about enlightenment. You know, I've looked into this, you know, long and hard, and I can see it's a whole broad spectrum. There is no this is the way, oh, this is the feeling. That's just you, that's just one individual. You know, you had an experience, you know, and so it doesn't mean anything. I don't think it doesn't mean anything outside of your own experience, and so for people like, you know, Leo to convey this to people, well, that's his path. That what happened to him, and you know that isn't going to translate to anybody.
No.
For
Again,
instance, about DMT trips or psilocybin or anything like that, or astral projection. None of that stuff that I've ever heard has ever translated to my experience.
And again, that's a great example you make. That was the first video I watched today of Leo, and I only could at let's say 3 or 4 points in the video, I was like, I know what you mean, because I had my own experience in that. But if I didn't have that experience, I would watch that video and just, what the fuck he's talking about? You know, the whole video, what the fuck he's talking about. When you never had that experience, you don't have something to...
relate to.
Yeah, relate to see, I see what he means in a way, but it's his experience, it's his perspective. It's not I can't say it's the same experience. I can't say that. It's a totally different experience, but you can relate something out of that when you had a similar experience as that. Yeah. But if you don't, you're just watching that and just, what the fuck he's talking about?
It doesn't mean anything. It's a bit like an Eskimo. You're talking about a desert to an Eskimo. You're showing them a picture. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? It's really superfluous. And so this is why in some of my videos I do discourses whereby I say, can anybody really be somebody else that they're not destined to be? And if I look at my life now and what I'm doing and everything I'm conveying, and I was speaking to Jonathan the other day in a Skype conversation, and he says, look, mate, to be fair, and I'm not being picky, but you kind of like come over as if like you want everybody to be like you. And I'm like, well, it is kind of like that, but what I'm actually saying is that this is how I am. If you want to be something like me, you know, then this is how you do it, or this is how I did it. But then I asked myself, well, I was always an entrepreneur, and I made money doing this, and I made money doing that. And people have often said to me, how did you make your money, Aaron? It doesn't transfer. You're different people. You're living in a different time. You're living in a different world. It doesn't fucking transfer.
Yeah, it's a different mindset. And you have your own mindset, and everyone has his own mindset. And so the only thing you can do is to look at the perspective of another person, and maybe you can again relate something to that. Maybe you see, I had a similar experience, or I see it in the same light or in a different light. But you can always, like I told you in the beginning why I watch your videos, I always can pick something out of your videos for myself. You know, I'm not just, Aaron said that, okay, that's the way it is. No, it's just like, Aaron said that, and I see why he said that is in this way, or he tries this method, and again, with meditation, with everything, I make my own realization out of that. I make my own thing out of that.
And so with all of the stuff that I say, and I always say, don't believe a single word I say. I don't believe a single word I say. There's nothing to believe. You know, who are we? Who do we think we are, Chris? When we are this really, really tiny, insignificant, really, part of this cosmos, do we think we really know something? Fucking give it up. Give it up, people. But, you know, if you enjoy yourself, then, okay, do whatever you can to enjoy yourself. But don't ever think you'll really learn or know anything thing for sure. And so what the greatest message that I convey is that I'm trying to show you different opportunities of being able to think in different ways for yourself. Even when I'm chastising people, I'm maybe being manipulative or bullshit, it's not about me. It's about how you can learn something from it.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. There's a message. You see, we can walk around any city, street or town, any nature environment. Everything that we see is an opportunity for us to learn, an opportunity for us to look closer, to absorb that information and to question. That's what all this is about, really. It's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, it's just like we mentioned before, with just ask yourself when something triggers you or something. Ask yourself why. It's an opportunity to learn about yourself, not just that agitates me. I don't want to look at that. No, ask yourself why it triggers you. Why? That's really a very great question. Why?
And this is the biggest issue that humanity has, that they don't value other people really having a contrary opinion. They just don't value it.
No,
I don't agree with that. That don't fit my program. That's not right. Well, and this is why, you see, when you've got people like Richard Dawkins, and he's like absolutely vehemently atheist, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? You was obviously buggered by the Jesuits, mate.
Yeah, or he maybe has a bad experience with some priest in his childhood or something. I sometimes think about that about him.
Yeah,
maybe he has a bad experience with some priest in his childhood, and that's why he's so angry about the church or something. I don't know.
Well, this is what I mean when he was buggered by the Jesuits.
Okay.
You know, because the chances are he went to one of these Catholic boarding schools, you know, being a top knob professor like that. And, you know, if he did, then without a shadow of a doubt, that's what he would have encountered. So now this is why he's vehemently opposed to religion. And you can see in his face, he gets so angry about it that anybody could believe in that fucking shit. And so, yeah, you can look into his deep psychology. So we're up to 1 hour and 35. I'm quite happy to talk for another half an hour if you want to pick another subject, but I just want to finish up this video so it doesn't get too long.
Yeah, okay.
So that was a great conversation. So thanks, Chris.
Bye.